This is Talk with the Times at the Loudoun Times-Mirror in Leesburg, Virginia.
Hello and welcome to Talk with the Times. Joining me today is Elizabeth Coe, reporter for the Loudoun Times-Mirror. Elizabeth, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, well, the Board of Supervisors has set the rate for 2011. It's $1.30 per hundred, and it's a budget of a little bit more than $1.4 billion. The schools are getting $714 million of that in the operating budget, not counting the debt servicing and instruction. So what are you hearing from school board members and supervisors about where the budget is and what the impact's going to be on the classrooms?
Well, now that they've passed the budget, the school board is going to be getting together April 13th to reconcile it, and they're going to have to make some cuts. And there's definitely going to be an impact on the classroom. I mean, they haven't done it yet, so we're not exactly sure, but they're saying that amount of funding is equal to 293 full-time positions. These won't be teaching positions, but they will be things like teaching assistants, guidance counselors, assistant athletic directors, and they're also talking about the possibility of eliminating summer school and getting rid of the foreign language elementary school program. So It's definitely going to be felt.
Right. And the school board's going to sit down over the next couple of weeks and figure out exactly what's going to happen there, right?
Yes, they've got two public hearings. One is April 8th, one is April 12th, and they want members of the public to come out and give their input into what they think should be cut.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of input if the Board of Supervisors has been any indication. Obviously, one little ray of good news in all of this was our folks down in Richmond, specifically Delegate Tad Greason and Senator Mark Herring, got some money back in the local composite index, $20-some-odd million. What would have happened if the LCI hadn't been adjusted back and that money come back to Loudoun County?
Well, if we didn't get the $21 million, it would have been just that much harder of a budget year. I mean, they were really, really hoping for that, and it's a good thing that it did come. Even though they did end up getting the $21 million, the Board of Supervisors still made some cuts at the school system, lost $19 million out of their fund balance, and they lost $5.5 million that they were going to put toward a COLA for our teachers.
So it would have been a lot worse.
So it would have been a lot worse, yes.
All right, changing subjects slightly, the school board is once again dealing with one of the most contentious issues for a lot of parents, almost even more so than the budget, which is the boundary line adjustments for each of the schools. We're dealing with this time in Dulles South. So how are those issues playing out this year? Is it getting to be any better of a process, any worse? Are you seeing any differences from last year?
Well, last year, because of how last year went, because of all the controversy, the school board did update the school boundary change policy a month ago. And they're trying to make it more transparent. They're trying to do it in a way that parents can tell sort of how they're making the decisions based on what factors. So they went through and they prioritized the way that they're going to make the decision based on different things like proximity and community, like what their priorities would be for how to send kids to different schools. The problem in Dulles South is that you have such a high population in such a concentrated area, which is South Riding, that even kids who do live closer to a certain school might get sent to one of the new schools, even if it is farther away.
And that's always one thing.
It's too early to tell. I mean, they're still early in the process, but those two new schools are very needed down there. By the time they open in 2011, Mercer Middle School is going to be hundreds of kids over capacity, and Freedom's supposed to be like 700 kids over capacity by the time the new high school opens. So It's something that you can't really avoid. Somebody's going to have to move.
Never easy decisions for the school board. I'm certain of that. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, David D'Onofrio. This has been Talk with the Times. Hello, and welcome back to Talk with the Times. I'm your host, David D'Onofrio. I'm pleased to be joined by Catoctin School Board member Jennifer Bergel. Ms. Bergel, thank you for being here.
And thank you for having me here.
Right. Well, let's jump right in. The big issue is this week is that the budget has been, the tax rate has been approved. This board is set at $1.30 per hundred, and the school budget has been set at $718.5 million as an operating budget. Now it's your turn as the school board to get to work, and you've got a couple of sessions coming up. So what do you see the impact of what the Board of Supervisors has done on the school board, and as you set your priorities? Is it as simple as seeing the option one option one cuts put in place?
Thanks for asking that question, Dave, because I don't think it's that simple, and I tried to address that before the tax rate was set. I am not planning on being bound by the option one list. I think there has to be other things put out there as being possibilities before we go and cut positions. Reduce anyone. We need teachers' assistants. We need the programs in place. We need these things. So where can we go that we haven't gone yet? One thing that was in place a couple years ago when I came onto the board was parents paying for AP tests. When I was a student in the school system, the parents paid for them. The school system was paying for AP tests. but we were paying for them when I was here. So now parents are paying for them again. I don't think that's unreasonable. I did not think it was unreasonable to raise parking fees because students have free transportation to school. It's whether or not they want to be on the yellow bus. And yes, students work, but still there are ways that you can work around it, because I think we had those same issues when we were in high school. People worked. One place and the sports fees, I coach and I pay more.
Right, in the little
kids.
leagues, right.
I mean, and I coach and I have to pay much more. So I did not think $50 was unreasonable. And yes, it's $100, but I still don't think that's unreasonable, because you have so much access to transportation, everything with a high school sport. PSAT tests are still a place where I think a fee can be imposed. It's a drop in the bucket in a budget, and I understand that, but still it's about $100,000. And where can $100,000 go? Well, it can probably save some assistant positions. So that's one of the things I'm looking at. I'm not interested in cutting out sports. Some people are like, get out sports completely. We don't need them. And sports has been a culture of schools, I think, from very early starts to time, because of the fact that it builds a culture of a community and a school.
Well, especially in Loudoun County, where there is such a fractured community in some ways. Right. It is high school sports that brings a lot of people together.
And the nice thing about having the schools in the county now, when I graduated there were 4 high schools, and that was for a very long time. But now that we have more high schools, we're able to get more of the competition within the county. So it's allowing kids to network within a county in a way that they wouldn't be otherwise able to do so. So, and I mean, for example, people of different generations go to the plays at school, they go to the sports at schools, they willingly attend these events. And so why would you cut into a community in a way like that?
And let's wrap it up with this. You are a teacher down in Fairfax, so you are seeing this from both sides, both as on the Loudoun County School Board,
right,
and as a teacher in Fairfax, which is struggling just as much with Loudoun County. You're dealing with tight budgets on both levels. What are your thoughts and advice for teachers as they go through this with slightly less resources and a lot of pressure placed upon them in these difficult economic times?
I do have some serious concerns, because some people suggest that teachers will not stay in Loudoun, and others people say, oh, that's not true. Mm-hmm. But I saw that happen. When I came out of college, and a lot of us that had graduated from here, we weren't immediately hired because there weren't the positions. And then you had a change in that, where there was the culture of trying to hire as many graduates because you knew your product. And but Loudoun was competitive. And Fairfax, their school board, even once the LCI was adjusted, actually added money to its budget. And the supervisors did not balk publicly at that. And so I have some serious concerns about how we're going to be in the region next year. And it's not just retaining good teachers, it's how are we going to appear in comparison of our students who are applying for the same slots in the schools. What is this going to do to them? And that's why, again, I don't think we should be reducing positions. We have to very carefully look at the classroom. But I would warrant everybody's going to have higher class sizes, so we need to even look at that. At the high school level, it's capped. Yeah. But, I mean, I have elementary age students. I don't want their classes bigger, but if that gets us to not getting rid of those assistants that need to be there, what's 26 versus 27? Really, in the world of a teacher, I would say keep my assistants, give me one more kid. I know those pressures, but my gosh, this has to end.
Well, there's nothing easy about your job, but I don't think anybody particularly envies the school board and you guys on this. Thank you so much for being here, Ms. Bergel.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
And for LoudounTimesMirror.com, this has been Talk with the Times with David D'Onofrio.